Lafia, Hotep, and Kamusta. Welcome to the Mindofro page. I am Ifa Titilaya Obajuguna. So today I'm going to make a video on how to control your empathic gifts and also how to protect your energy from funky ass people. Yes, I said it, from funky ass people. So the last video I made was based on the difference between woke and conscious. I know a lot of people probably think it's the same thing, but it's not. So if you would like to check out that video and you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mindofro. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram and a Twitter at Mindofro. And I also have a business page on Facebook, which is separate from this page that I usually do my live videos on. So if you're watching this on YouTube, know that I do my videos always live on my Facebook personal page at Mindofro, and I also have a business page at The Mindofro, and I also have a Snapchat at Little Roro 253. So before I get started, how do you even know if you're an empath? So for those of you who are not sure what an empath is, or if you want to know if you're for sure you are one, here are some basic thoughts or basic feelings that you just might be an empath. Number one is you're super sensitive to energy. What this means is you could be around certain people and you could feel if they're a bad person, feel if they're sad, or feel if they're a good person just simply by being near them without even them speaking to you at all. Or you could go to someone's house and feel the energy in someone's home and know if they are a toxic family or if they are a very healthy family, and you could just feel it energetically. Another sign that you may be an empath is one of the major signs, and which is why I'm making this video, is that you tend to soak up a lot of other people's energy. What this means is you could be a happy person one day, or having a really happy day, and you're a happy person, and you had a good day all day, and then all of a sudden you run into somebody at the store or at someone's house, right? Or someone comes over and they're in a really bad mood, and then all of a sudden the rest of your day ends up going downhill and you're in a really bad mood and you feel like crap, and you're like, well, why do I feel like crap? I had a great day today. That's a really major red flag that you are an empath. Another sign is that you just know things. You realize that you intuitively just know some even major historical events, and then you find out later on without even studying it that it ends up being true, or you just have a feeling something might happen and it ends up happening. Then these are major signs that you may be an empath. So here are 5 ways you can control your empathic gifts. Because one of the major complaints about being an empath is soaking in people's energy or soaking in stuff that we don't like, that doesn't serve us, and then not being able to get it away or be able to shake it off, or even knowing what we're supposed to do with this gift. Some people end up trying to go numb or you turn it off and stuff, and not realizing that there are ways we can control it, and it is a gift, therefore we should treat it like one. So I'm going to share with you 5 steps you could do to control your empathic gifts. Number 1, which is a major one, is to listen to your intuition, which is your third eye, is stop doubting your intuition. If you intuitively feel, or if your gut feeling is telling you that this person is lying to you, this person's about to rob the store that you're standing next to, or you feel like maybe I shouldn't snag this job, or you have there's a lot of good signs as well, like you intuitively feel like, oh, I should move over there, I'm gonna be happy if I move there, or intuitive, you feel like, oh, I should be with this person, it's gonna be a great relationship. Then you need to listen to your intuition, because how many times have you not listened to your intuition or ignored your gut feelings and you regretted it? Your intuition is always right. That is your higher self speaking to you. So the number 1 step to controlling your empathic gifts is learning to trust your intuition. Basically, what that means is to know thyself, and to know thyself means that you're listening to your intuition and you intuitively know that it's telling you the truth, and you know to listen to it. Number 2 is be aware that being an empath basically means you are a psychic, you are a medium, and you are a gifted person, and you are also able to heal people with your empathic gifts. So a lot of us tend to shame ourselves, or we try to turn it off or click it off or ignore it or go numb because we don't know what to do with it, or because society says we're not normal. They tell us, oh, we're crazy, or you're psychotic, or you're schizophrenia, or whatever all these negative labels it is that empaths have to hear from the public or from society, tends to turn us into something that we're not. So we got to love ourselves. So one of the major steps to in controlling our empathic gifts is learning to accept ourselves, accept our gifts, accept ourselves for who we are, and accept the gift that we have, and understand that these are psychic abilities. If you are able to feel energy in other people and feel energy that's going on around you and be able to intuitively know what's going to happen, you are a psychic, and that's okay. So a way to be able to control that is to be able to have it within ourselves, to accept that within ourselves. If you are empathic, that means you could feel and sense sickness and sadness and any imbalances in other people, which means you could heal people, which means a lot of people aren't very mindful of their own issues. Most people aren't mindful of their sicknesses. They're not mindful of their actions. They're not mindful of their feelings. When you are an empath, you're not only feeling your own energy, you're feeling a lot of energies within other people that are not mindful of their own energies. So what this means is you have the power to be able to let other people know what sickness they have, what issues they're having, and help them bring it out into the open so they can heal. So next step to controlling our empathic gifts is mindfulness meditation. So for those of you who do not meditate, if you want to control your empathic gifts, one of the main techniques to use is mindfulness meditation. What that basically means is being able to be in the now, as in what you're going to do is you're going to simply just close your eyes and feel everything that is around you. And without trying to think about the past, without trying to think about the future, just simply be with the moment. And the reason why this helps is because you're training your mind to be aware of energy that's around you and to be aware of what is your energy and what is not your energy. So if you start to feel disturbed when you go into a building, for example, and you feel anxiety, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm anxious and I have issues because I'm anxious, you would be mindful enough to realize, well, I'm feeling anxious because I'm around an anxious person, or I feel anxious because I'm around a building that has a lot of negative energy in it because there's a lot of negative people doing negative stuff within this building. So this is why one of the main techniques that we need to learn as an empath is learning how to do mindful techniques, and training our mind to do that is doing mindfulness meditations. So you could do a simple YouTube search and put in mindfulness meditations. If you do not meditate already, I would suggest to keep within 15 minutes, because if your brain is not used to meditating a lot, you're going to end up falling asleep, or you're going to start spacing out or start thinking about other stuff other than the meditation. So we got to slowly step ourselves into the habit of learning how to control our mind chatter, what we call the monkey brain that likes to talk too much and get in the way of our focus. So if you're first starting meditation techniques, I would suggest to make sure it's 15 minutes or under, and then graduate to longer ones, which are like 20 minutes to an hour and stuff like that. So next technique to control your empathic gifts is what I like to call realize, then let go. Here's a simple practice that I like to do, is because I do hair, which that means is I'm always in people's personal business, or personal, not personal business, but in people's personal auric field, or in their personal energy field, and they're in my energy field as well. So with my personal experience, here's one example that I have. I have a specific client that I have on a regular basis who has a breathing issue. So when I stand next to her really close and I'm doing her hair, it feels like I have a breathing issue. So here's a really easy, quick technique you could do when no one's even realizing you're doing it. You could do it simply within your mind. You could do it while you're standing in line, or if you're working with clients, you could do this, is you could simply just focus on what your energy feels like. And this is the concept of where we're going back to knowing thyself, to know what your energy feels like, to think about, okay, how have you been feeling all day? And all of a sudden your energy shifted all of a sudden. So you could think about, this is what my energy has been feeling all day. And then all of a sudden this person comes in, now it shifts. So you could go within your mind and think, okay, what is this energy that I feel that is shifting within my energy? And you could simply ask yourself, what does this person's energy feel like? For example, what does this person's energy feel like that I'm doing? Her hair, this woman who can't breathe, I feel like her energy feels like she can't breathe. I feel like this person's energy feels tired. It feels heavy. It feels depressed. And then kind of like imagining that you're shutting a door, or you're imagining that you're putting a wall up, or you're imagining sorry about that. So you're going to imagine that you're either closing curtains or a door or putting a wall up or something like that, that's going to kind of help you separate your energy from the other person's energy. You could also do something like let's say you're standing in line at the store, right? And you feel like there's somebody in front of you that has really funky energy. They're just like complaining and stuff like that. Something simple like turning your back to the person so they're actually standing behind you. Of course, you don't want to be rude and be like, oh, screw you, and turn around. Kind of do it so you're not obvious. We don't want to be rude or anything, but it really does help. It's what you do with your body kind of can help you separate your energy from that other person's energy. So you're waiting in line. You could do something simple like even back up a little bit and turn your back or turn your side, or use something specific to separate yourself from that other person. For example, if you work in an office and let's say you're in those offices where they have those little walls that separate you, but the person next to you has really bad energy, you could do something like put a plant in between you and that person, or a stone in between you and that person, or even something like a glass of water that'll separate you and that other person, so the object is soaking up that person's energy before it's able to get to you. Or if you're standing in line, you could do something like maybe turn and have your bag separate. If you're a woman, if you're holding a bag or a purse, to separate you and that person with your purse, or put the cart in between you and that person. Or if you're carrying some kind of what are those little the baskets, use the basket to separate the energy, because everything has energy to it. So basically what you're doing is you're using the energy from a basic object to separate you and the other person's energy. This is another great technique to use at home as well, is to practice. So practice makes perfect. So the separating yourself from the other person's energy, what I like to do is practice with people I know, practice with anything that is alive. So if you have pets at home, you could practice with them. You could simply have your dog or your cat sit next to you, and then you would measure your auric field. Of course, we are eternal and we're connected to the whole entire universe, and our auric field goes forever and ever and ever. But we do have a specific line around our body to where we start to really feel someone's energy really enter that field. So it's good to measure where our specific field is at. Everyone's energy is different. So what you could do is you could go home and you could sit on the couch, or you could stand up, and you could do this with a plant or a pet or a person, anything that's alive, because a plant's alive, it has its own energy field. What you can do is put your dog on the couch, or put your cat on the couch, and then you're gonna close your eyes, and you're gonna feel how close does it take for you to start to feel your cat's energy. So let's say you're sitting on the couch and you close your eyes and you feel, okay, you put the cat next to you, and then you start to slowly scoot away from your cat. And then you could kind of tell with your eyes closed, what point is it to where you start to not feel the cat's energy as much? And then you could actually measure how many inches or how many feet out of where your energy of interruption goes to. That way, when you're out in public, you know exactly the distance you need to move away. So you know when you're out in public what to do when someone's energy is bothering you, and how far you need to be until that energy doesn't bother you. And you could also do this as well, is practice separating your energy from something else's or someone else's. So you could do this with a plant. I would suggest a plant is really good, because a plant energy is so much softer than a human's energy or a dog or cat's energy. So if you could do this with a plant, you're definitely going to be able to do this with a person. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a plant, you're going to put it on the table, and you're going to stand next to the plant, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to be able to identify, okay, this is what I feel like. This is what my energy feels like. And sometimes you could even put colors to it. You could put shapes to it. You could just put a feeling to it. You could compare it to something else, like, oh, maybe I feel like the ocean, or, you know, something like that. And then when you identify your own energy, then you're going to identify the energy of the plant. So you're going to do the same thing with the plant. You're going to close your eyes and say, okay, the plant energy feels green. It feels light. It feels whatever energy you want to feel. And then you're going to step away from the plant farther and farther and farther. And then you're going to do the same thing where you can measure where the plant energy is at and where your energy is at, where you could feel, okay, where is the crossing point of my energy and the plant energy? How does it feel when that plant energy crosses over into mine? Does it feel disturbing? Does it feel healing? And how do I know the difference between mine and the plant energy? And this is great practice, because then what you're doing is you're filing this information within your mind. So when you're out and about, you know how to identify your energy and how to identify another person's energy. So we're not trying to own or adopt another person's energy that does not serve us. Especially with what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of toxicity going on. So there's basically this auric field going around the whole planet. So it's really good to be able to separate ourselves from that energy, so we're not acting toxic or behaving or acting toxic or feeling toxic along with everybody else or everything else that's going on in the world right now. So another technique that you could use as well is saying it out loud. Saying stuff like, I feel as though this person is lying to me. I feel like I'm supposed to be working this other job. I feel like something is about to happen. I feel like this person is manipulating me. When we say it out loud and we say, I feel as though, then we're being real with our feelings instead of trying to suppress it and trying to lie to ourselves, because a lot of times society wants to suppress our feelings or make it feel like, oh, we're crazy, or toxic people want us to be convinced that we're crazy. So when we say it out loud, we're making it real, and we are taking accountability for the energy that we're feeling, and then we're holding the other person accountable for their energy as well. And that's actually helped me a lot. So my personal experiences with trying to control my empathic gifts has been definitely a journey. There is never a point to where it just ends and then we get to like our journey and then it's over and we know everything. This is an onward journey. It goes on forever and ever for the rest of our life. We're always going to be learning. And what I've realized is a lot of times being an empath, we tend to avoid things because we don't want to hurt other people's feelings. And because we do that, we tend to soak in their energy. So this is from my experience, is learning to hold people accountable for their energy and learning to hold myself accountable for accepting things that I knew better not to. So that is my personal experience I've learned that I've been looking into the past a lot, and I've been really like evaluating myself as being an empath and what disturbs me and what has disturbed me in the past and what has not served me in the past. And I've had a lot of realizations recently that I've just been ignoring a lot of my messages that I get from other people that I realize, and why I've been through a lot more crap than I should have in my life was basically because I ignored my empathic gifts. And because I ignored my empathic gifts, it caused a lot of crap in my life. I ended up being in really toxic relationships. I ended up not doing things that I know I really wanted to do because I was trying to appease other people. And this is my personal experience of trying to control my empathic gifts, is taking accountability for my actions of ignoring my empathic gifts. I also play games as well. I made this on one of my third eye videos I made not too long ago about how to open your third eye, and I'll tag that video with this video. So one of the techniques I used to exercise my empathic gifts was playing the guessing game or intuitive game. What that means is you could do this every day, at work, at home, whenever. You could do it within your mind to help exercise your intuition. Like, let's say you're washing the dishes, you could say, I intuitively feel like when I open this cabinet, there's going to be 3 bowls left. And then you're going to open the cabinet and be like, oh, there's 3 bowls. Or maybe there's 2 bowls. Oh, shoot, I'm wrong. So this is what I learned to do, is the first answer you get when you ask yourself something, I intuitively believe there's going to be 3 bowls in the cabinet when I open it. But then I say, well, maybe I'm tripping, I'm doubting, maybe I'm wrong, and there's actually 4 bowls. That's your second guess. Your second guess is always wrong. This is what I've learned with my personal experiences playing empathic gifts with myself, is the first voice is always right, all the time. If I'm wrong, go ahead and leave a comment or a message and let me know. And let me know what their feelings and energies that you have and what you learned with this. This is just from my personal experience. I don't, what I say isn't law. But I've realized that the first answer that comes to me is always the right one. So I like to play this game at work where I'll say, well, I have to like fold the towels and put the towels in the cabinets and stuff. And I'll guess, okay, I guess there's going to be 8 towels left in this cabinet when I open the cabinet. And then the more I play this game, the better I get at it. And then it's very rewarding. So if you guess there's going to be 8 towels in the cabinet and you're like, oh my God, I'm right, it feels really empowering. And then it teaches you to trust yourself and to trust your intuition. This is a great game to play. You could do it in your head. You don't have to do it out loud. Or if you want to go for it, do it out loud and have other people play with you. It's really fun. You can even do the same thing with playing cards and put 3 cards in front of you and then lift it over and say, I intuitively believe it's going to be this card. These type of games help you with your intuitive gifts and help you with your empathic gifts, because you are empathically feeling that as though this may be the card that's going to be lifted, or this is what's going to happen when I open the door, or whatever, and stuff like that. So when we ignore these empathic gifts, we are setting ourselves up for failure. So we always have these feelings like, oh, if I go over there, there's going to be a lot of problems. Or if I talk to this person's going to give me a hard time. And then like our intellectual mind wants to be like, oh no, you need to do this because this is that. Or our pride or our ego wants to be like, oh no, this is that. And then we always regret it, because the intuitive mind is always the first mind. It was a mind that existed before you ever existed within this realm, within this physical body. Your physical body and your physical brain is a lot younger than your intuition. Your intuition is a connection you have to source, connection to God, or connection to the universe, whatever you want to call it. That is what your intuition is connected to. So these are great practices you could do to exercise your empathic, or not empathic, yeah, your empathic gifts. So next, we're going to talk about 5 ways to protect your energy. So one of the things that sucks about being an empath is we tend to soak up a lot of energy. We tend to, and because we soak up a lot of energy, we tend to confuse the concept of empath with empathic. So there's that's different. You can be an empath and not feel like you need to be empathetic with everybody. So this is the concept of learn how to protect your energy. So I'm going to give you some advice on how to protect your energy. Number 1 is learning some cleansing techniques. So here are some cleansing techniques. I'm sure if a lot of you follow me, I'm sure you know about sage. So if you're out and you're working all day, or you've been running errands all day, and you know you've been around some funky energy, funky clients, funky people at the store, whatever it is, funky traffic, and you feel kind of, you feel like there's this weird juju in your energy field, always cleanse yourself as soon as you walk through the front door. Always take a shower when you get home. Unless you have somewhere else to be in a hurry, of course. But if you've been working all day long and you don't have anywhere to go, take a shower when you get home. One of the best things to take a shower with is white soap, because you want your energy to expand out. So you don't want to be soaking in. Also, another cleansing technique that's kind of like sage is Palo Santo. So sage is meant to neutralize the energy, is what sage does. So what you would do is, when you use sage, after you neutralize your energy, a good thing to use after that is Palo Santo. So Palo Santo will uplift your energy. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think sage uplifts your energy. Sage does not uplift your energy. It cleanses the area and it cleanses your aura. So what you're doing is you're just neutralizing everything, and then to put energy within your energy to help uplift your energy after neutralizing, you would use Palo Santo to uplift the energy. You could also use singing bowls to cleanse your energy and to cleanse your home energy. You could also clean yourself off with stuff. So I practice a lot of African spirituality. So one of the main ways you can, and one of the main things you could use, main foods you could use to clean off your energy is a coconut. So you would leave a coconut by your front door, and every time you come home, you would take the coconut and you would basically go from your bottom of your feet all the way up to your head, rub it across your arms, and then back down, and you're going to drop it on the ground. Basically what you're doing is all the negative energy that you've been soaking up all day long that does not serve you, whether it's with witchcraft, negativity, funky energy, pollution, negative thoughts that you picked up from being out and about. You're going to basically let the coconut soak up all the energy, and you're going to drop it, and you're going to keep it in front of your front door. Another way also is using foods other than coconuts to cleanse your energy. One of the main things is fruit. So you could use apples. You could take an apple or 2 apples, and you could use apples to cleanse your energy, cleanse your aura. Do the same thing, going from the bottom to the top, and cleanse yourself all the way up and back out, and then drop them in the forest, at the crossroads, wherever you want to drop it. You want to put them outside and leave them there. You could leave the coconut by your door because you could use it a few more times. Usually if you use fruit, you don't want to eat it afterwards. You don't want it to go bad. I mean, that'd be gross. Coconuts last a really long time. You don't have to worry about that. With fruit, so you would drop the fruit outside. So basically what you're doing is you're cleaning your energy and your auric field off, and then you're going to return it back to nature. Another way also is, a common one that a lot of people use, is an egg. You could take an egg and clean your energy off. If you feel like you've seen something you wish you didn't see, you could use it to clean your eyes off. You could use it to clean your third eye off, and your ori, or what we call your ori, which is your head energy, your soul energy that lives within your head. Clean your heart energy off. Clean all your chakras all around your whole body. Somebody asked in the comments, is a coconut sliced or whole coconut? You're going to use a whole coconut, and fresh one. The more fresher it is, the better. And yeah, you're going to use a whole entire coconut and to cleanse yourself off, and then you're going to drop it in front of your door. You don't want to be using it for a whole entire year. And then here we're going to go back to your intuition. If you intuitively feel like you've given the coconut way too much negative energy and it's time to throw it away and start anew, then listen to your intuition, listen to your empathic gifts. If you empathically feel like the coconut is too funky and it can't soak in any more energy, then throw it away, leave it at the crossroads, leave it in the forest, leave it under a tree. Whatever you empathically feel like is the right thing to do, those are the main spots you would leave it at, and then go to the store and go grab you a new one. But you can't use a coconut more than one time, at least 3 times. However you want to use it afterwards, just leave it up to your empathic gifts and how many times you feel like you could let that coconut soak up your energy. Another way is cleansing baths. So you've been having a really long week at work, and you're stressed, or maybe you have a lot of family issues and you're just like, ugh, you're just tired of it. Take cleansing baths. I'm not going to go into the recipes on cleansing baths, or I'd be here all day. I did make a video recently on specific recipes you could use for cleansing baths and what each recipe is specifically for. I will tag that video with this video so you know exactly what kind of bath you should take for whatever need that you have at that time. Another technique also is the return to sender technique. You could do this with the coconut. You could do this in your bath. You could do it with the egg. You could do it with fruit, whatever it is. You could do it just with your mind's eye, and you could kind of imagine yourself saying return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. Let's say somebody gave you a hard time today and you're like, damn, this person's pissing me off, and you feel like you're like, oh, why am I so angry about this? It's bothering me. I don't want it to bother me. This is somebody else's energy. You could basically say return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. Throw it back, give it back, write a letter, give it back. Tell their energy, this is not mine, doesn't belong to me. I was happy before this person came along. Give it back, give it back, give it back. You could also wear a lot more lighter colors. So when we wear a lot of dark colors, like black, dark purple, dark blue, stuff like that, according to the color scale and according to the laws of the universe, the color black is very, it sucks in is what it does. So it's nothing bad. It's nothing. It's not the concept of good or bad or whatever. So dark colors tend to suck energy in. So like I'm wearing today, if you notice, I'm wearing a lot of white. I wear a lot of white because white on the energy scale and on the color wheel, white has the highest energy and it tends to radiate outward. So if you do not want to soak in a lot of people's energy, if you feel like you have to go to an event or party or be around certain people that you know is going to bother you, don't want to soak in their energy, wear a lot of bright colors. White, bright colors that's going to have your auric field radiating out instead of you soaking stuff in. Somebody asked, what about substituting chemical-based lotions or creams with coconut oil? That's a very good question. So it is very typical to use creams to protect your energy. So I do wear coconut oil all the time. I don't, like, not every day, but almost every day I use coconut oil as lotion on my face, in my hair, on my body. Coconut oil does help control, radiate your energy outward, does help control, or not control, but does help keep you from soaking in energy that does not serve you. If you're going to use lotions, make sure it's natural. So if you're going to use something like cocoa butter or shea butter, make sure it's real and it's not mixed up with a bunch of other, man-made chemicals and stuff with it. Yes, Jonathan asked about lotion and creams and coconut oil. Yes, it does help, definitely, to help your energy radiate out. You're not soaking in, as long as it's real and it's not chemical based and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely go for it. Next step to protecting your energy is visualization. So you feel like you're around a toxic person. So number one of the best ways to control your energy from soaking in funky energy is knowing how to visualize your energy separate from another person's energy. So like I shared earlier with the technique on understanding how to feel your energy and another person's energy, another way to protect your energy is to visualize almost like a bubble around you, and visualize your energy and visualize their energy as separate. I understand the whole concept of we're one and blah, 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 blah. I agree, I get it. But when it comes to toxic energy, we need to give ourselves permission that it's okay to say this is mine and that is yours. So one of the best techniques to protect your energy from other people's energy is to visualize a door going up, or visualizing your energy and visualizing their energy as two separate conscious beings. Another step, number 3, is be mindful of energy vampires. The best way to protect your energy is to be aware of energy vampires, because they are the most people that's going to make your energy feel funky. So here are some red flags you're dealing with an energy vampire. Number 1 are people who take no responsibility for their actions. So somebody wants to invade and come over to your house and be hella mean to you, steal your stuff, eat all your food, whatever it is, and they're always doing this all the time. They're always giving you a hard time. They're always messing with you, and it's never their fault, and they never take any accountability for it. This is a red flag. You're dealing with an energy vampire. Number 2 is a person who's always negative. I understand that we have problems in our life, but if you're dealing with a pessimist, as in no matter how positive you're trying to be, they just want to be hella pessimistic all the time. They're always depressed. They're always mad. They're always trying to bring you down. Then that's a red flag. You're dealing with an energy vampire. Another sign is they're always trying to one-up you, or they're always trying to compete with you, as in they don't like to see you or other people shine. They have a problem with that. You get a new car and they're like, oh, well, my car's better. You get a new home and they're like, oh, yeah, well, you could have done better. Oh, you got a new job. Oh, yeah, well, you could have worked somewhere else. That's called a hater, and that's called an energy vampire. Another sign you're dealing with an energy vampire is they're bossy. They're always telling you what to do. They think they know what's best for you, no matter how much you tell them you know what you want for yourself. They feel like that they know what's best for yourself, and they dismiss anything that you say you want for yourself. This is a red flag. You're dealing with an energy vampire. And one of the main signs you're dealing with an energy vampire are people who like to play mind games. People who like to guilt trip you. So if you are an empath, you tend to be very empathic or very sympathetic with people who have issues because you know what it feels like. You've been there, you have the struggle. But as soon as you put your wall up and say, no, I'm not going to deal with your crap, they like to pull out the guilt trip and make you feel bad for setting boundaries. They also like to reflect. Reflect basically means that they're telling you that you're doing something that they're actually doing. I'm sure you've dealt with that before, where you feel like someone's coming at you and they're blah, 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 and you're thinking, wait a second, that's not what I'm doing, that's what you're doing. That's called reflecting. That's a red flag. You're dealing with an energy vampire. Another thing is deflecting, which means you're having a conversation, and then for some reason, they feel like they want to argue with you, right? Because they have a guilty conscience, so they start to deflect. Deflecting basically means that they want to change the subject and turn it into something you're not even talking about to get you sidetracked to argue about something else because they just want to make you feel wrong. That's called deflecting. Another one is gaslighting. Gaslighting is changing the subject, running you around in circles, and you feel like, wait a second, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else. That's basically called gaslighting. Or every single time you say something to you, every time you say something, they want to like either cut you off, or they want to make it seem like you said something that you didn't say. They want to put words in your mouth, and then you get caught up in an argument about something that ain't even true. That's called gaslighting. Another one is basically they're the manipulative. A lot of times we know when we're being manipulated. These people like to, energy vampires like to play victim. They want to start shit with you. They want to boss you around, treat you like crap, and then they want to act like they're the victim when you decide to stand up for yourself. So that's going to lead me to the next step, since we're talking about victims. Those are the red flags you're dealing with the energy vampire. So the best way to protect your energy is to know when you're dealing with an energy vampire. The next step is, since we're talking about energy vampires, is learning to set healthy boundaries. Okay, we are not responsible for other people's toxicity. And a lot of times toxic people want to act like you're responsible for them. We're not. As empathic people, we need to understand that just because we're empathic, it doesn't mean we have to sympathize with everybody. We are allowed to be happy. We are allowed to have our own energy, and we are allowed to set boundaries. As in, we are allowed to say no. We're allowed to say enough is enough. We're allowed to say this doesn't serve me, this disturbs my energy, and I don't want to be around it. And a lot of times these energy vampires will try to make you feel bad for setting these boundaries. We are allowed to set these boundaries. So that's going to go to my next step to guarding our energy, protecting our energy. Is some of you may not like this, but I'm going to say it out loud because this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way, is we got to stop playing victim. This is one of the best steps to protecting our energy, is we need to stop playing victim to everyone else's energy and take accountability when we are allowing somebody else within our life, and we are allowing energy in our auric field, and we are giving other people's energy permission to invade our energy. Because we have free will, and what that means is every single thing that we go through is our free will to accept it or to not accept it. This is called a soul contract, and we need to take accountability for that. Yes, there's a lot of funky energy out there, and there's a lot of toxic people, and there's a lot of crap going on in this world, but we need to take accountability for allowing certain things within our auric field and allowing certain people or certain habits within our life. We need to stop playing victim to it and acting like we have to deal with it. We don't have to deal with it. And that goes back to what I just mentioned earlier, is we need to set healthy boundaries. So my personal experience with learning how to protect my own energy, I've dropped a lot of people. I was living in Virginia for a while, where when I moved to Virginia, I dropped a lot of people when I moved there, and when I came back, I didn't go back to hanging out with a lot of people. And then after that, I did end up having still a few people within my circle. And then when I started really growing into my soul path, as in my higher purpose, I started really realizing how much crap I was allowing from people in my life. And I've dropped two very particular friends or what I like to call frenemies. And I would like to make another video on what frenemies are, but I'm not going to go into it too much. I've disowned a couple of frenemies. And the reason why I did was because I intuitively or empathically felt like they were kind of throwing hater daggers at me. What that means is making fun of what I'm about, making fun of what I do, telling me I'm supposed to be doing something else, even though I made it pretty clear about what I want to do with my life. And they want to basically, a lot of people who do this is they like to say they're joking when they're really not joking. They're really telling you the truth, and they're really telling you how they really feel. Sometimes a lot of people will straight up tell you how they feel about what you're about, but they want to do it in a joking manner. They're telling you the truth, whether they're joking or not. And this is my experience recently, is I've dropped a lot of people because it doesn't serve me, and it doesn't serve a lot of us as empathic people. And I had to realize the reason why I was feeling really anxious sometimes talking to certain people, or really agitated by certain people, is because I was ignoring the fact that they were just doing toxic shit. They were saying toxic stuff that doesn't align with my purpose and what I want for myself. So when we're empathic, we tend to feel like, oh, well, if I don't agree with the person, or I don't want to listen to them, then I'm the bitch, or I'm toxic because I don't want to listen to people. We gotta stop doing that shit. This is what I realized. When I got my power back, I stopped doing that shit. I don't feel bad anymore. If somebody tells me you're supposed to be doing this, but I already know what I want for myself, I'm not going to let anybody else tell me what I'm supposed to do. I know what I want for myself, and I know what I'm supposed to do with myself, and I don't need nobody telling me otherwise. And for people to come into my life and tell me I'm supposed to do something else when I know better than that, I took accountability and said, you know what? Enough. I'm done. I'm done with you. If you can't accept me for who I am and accept me for what I love, then get the fuck out of my life. And I'm going to tell every single one of you empaths who's following this video and listening to this video, you need to do that. Every single one of us need to do that, because we do not get our power back until we put our foot down and say, look, this is what I want for myself, and this is what I know I want for myself, especially if you're doing divination systems, especially if you're a meditator, especially if you're practicing African spirituality, and you already found yourself and you made up your mind and you know it makes you happy inside and you feel joyful. Nobody, I don't care if you're a mom or Jesus comes out of the clouds and tell you need to do something else. You know what makes you happy. There's nothing wrong with that. And toxic people love to try to take your happiness out of your life because they want you to be miserable with them. This is my personal experience. I dropped a lot of people because of that crap, and I feel no guilt or remorse for it at all, because something I learned, the number one way to get your power back is learning how to say no and feel no guilt for it. And I have to say, I've been pretty freaking happy and free since I made that conscious decision. I hope whoever's watching this helps you, because one of the main reasons why we don't get our power back and why empathic gifts work against us is because we don't know how to say no with no guilt. Because we want to be sympathetic and feel sorry for people who want to make us feel guilty for saying no. We got to stop doing that shit. We love ourselves so much that we hold ourselves accountable. Therefore, we need to hold other people just as accountable as we hold ourselves accountable. So as empathic people, we need to stop acting like it's only us who needs to be accountable. Everybody needs to be accountable for their actions. That means every toxic person that comes within our life with funky energy needs to be held accountable for their energy just as much as we hold ourselves accountable. If we are empathic people and we're doing everything we can to push our purpose, push our empathic gifts, push our psychic abilities, and we're doing that for ourselves, and we love ourselves that much, then we need to stop letting people knock fences over and ruin our shit. It takes a lot of energy and power and time to grow as a person. We gotta stop letting people come in our life and ruin it for us because they expect us to feel sorry for them. I'm not doing that no more. And then to be honest, as an empathic person, I have been really powerful and my life has been going uphill since then. So as an empathic person, my advice to all of you out there who are empathic as well, take your power back, learn how to set boundaries. And because if you really want to stretch your empathic gifts out, you can't do that with toxic people around. You can't do that by soaking in negative energy from other people. It is nearly impossible for you to be able to be an array, as in be able to expand your auric field and be able to expand your path and your journey in your life if you keep soaking in other people's funky ass energy. We got to take accountability for that and hold these other people accountable as well, because you have a choice in life. You have a choice to either allow them to dictate your life and you stay at the bottom, or get your ass out of the net and stop letting these crabs, the crab effect, bring you down because you feel guilty. Don't feel guilty for that, because they could ascend also. They could be an array also. But if they choose not to, that's not your problem. It's not our problem as empathic people. It's really not. It's because this is one thing that I realize. There's a whole lot of toxic people I see make posts on Facebook saying, oh, well, why are empathic people always trying to shut me out? Because you're a toxic person, that's why. That's why, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you that right now. We are not responsible for taking care of everybody else who don't want to take care of themselves. Okay? This video is meant to be empowering to people. I know there's a whole lot of videos and there's a whole lot of posts or blogs and all that kind of stuff out there on the internet saying, oh, you got to radiate your energy. I mean, you got to put an energy bubble over you and blah, 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 blah. But I have not seen one video or one blog that really says, hey, you know, cut certain people out and then really get your power back. Honestly, a lot of these things sound a lot of like foo-foo and light energy. I understand, I respect the whole concept of light energy and stuff like that. But really, if you're going to be an empathic person, you got to be powerful. And the power, and a lot of power comes from saying no and being able to own your own energy, because being empathic means you're a powerful person. And you gotta be able to radiate your energy outward instead of sucking in everybody else's funky energy and stuff. So that's my personal experience of learning how to protect my energy. I cut a lot of people off, and I'm not saying I became bitter. I became the person. I became assertive. From my personal experience, I learned how to be assertive with people so I could keep my energy and hand other people's energy back, which I like to call the hot potato. Some people like to throw you energy as a hot potato. Throw that shit back. Put your wall up, say, nope, that's yours, not mine. It's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So I hope this helped people. I also do aura readings. If you would like an aura reading, I do them over video chat on my Facebook. I also have a Zoom also if you want to like do a Zoom meeting if you don't have a Facebook page. What I could do is I could let you know what your imbalances are and what your balances are and what you could do to balance your balances. So if you would like an aura reading, go ahead and shoot me a comment or shoot me a message and let me know, and we could chat and make an appointment. So my next video, I'm going to return back to doing some meditation techniques. I've been doing some comedic meditation, so I'm going to return to doing that for the next couple of videos. My next one's going to be specifically on chants to open up our throat chakra to help us be able to express ourselves and to also be able to not only express ourselves, but to vibrate at a very specific vibration to where people aren't trying to twist your words. Because a lot of us empaths tend to attract people who like to twist our words and make it seem like we're saying something we're not, and then try to play the whole guilt trip. That doesn't really belong to us. You know what I mean? This is a lot of the stuff that a lot of empaths have to deal with. So look out for that next video on doing chant for our throat chakra, because that is the first energy field to our non-physical aura. So anything that's under your throat chakra, your heart down, is based on your physicalness. So your first energy center to the non-physical realm is your throat chakra. So go ahead and look out for that video. It's going to be specifically on comedic chants. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mindofro. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I have more intuition and wisdom to share with you. I hope everyone is having an auric protected day. Namaste, Hotep, Adabo, peace.